Hello and welcome back to the Joyful Soul Creates. Charlotte here, and today I'm participating in the Save The Crafty YouTuber video hub, which is designed to support crafty YouTubers. And all you have to do to participate in the hub is watch the videos, like the videos, consider subscribing, and then click the link in the video description down below to go to the next video in the hub. We have lots of prizes to be won. You can see on the graphic here all the wonderful sponsors we have, and to be eligible for winning a prize, make sure to leave a comment down below, and in your comment make sure you mention whether you're in the US or international, because some of the prizes, not all of them, but some have restrictions as to where they can be sent. For my video for you today, I'm going to be sharing different ways to use ink blending. So I'm going to start off by creating a rainbow ink blended background using some distress oxides. I only have a very limited number of distress oxides. I think I have 9 and 3 of those are blues. So I did have limitations on what colors I could use for making my rainbow background, but I managed to make it work. So I have this ink blending sped up quite a lot, but I've started with Festive berries as my red, and then I have wild honey, which is kind of an orangey yellow. I moved from the wild honey into squeezed lemonade, which is a brighter yellow, and then into my only green, which is lucky clover. And here you can see I make a bit of a mistake. I go into my green ink pad with my yellow ink blending tool when I wanted to get yellow. So how I fixed that was I cleaned off my ink blending tool on just a baby wipe, and then rubbed off as well on some scratch paper to get all that green off, and then went back to my ink blending. I do go backwards and forwards between each colour to help make the transition smooth between them, and to make sure that I don't make that same mistake again of putting the wrong blending tool into the wrong ink colour, I'm making sure that the 2 colours I have going at a time, because as I said I want to go back and forth between them, I make sure I'm not keeping them right next to each other, because that way hopefully I will remember to use the right tool with the right ink pad. So after the lucky clover I moved into cracked pistachio, which is a nice blue-green and helped the transition between the lucky clover and the Mermaid Lagoon, which is what I'd picked out for my blue. You might have noticed at the start that I actually measured on my grip mat how tall my piece of paper was, so I knew roughly how much space to do each colour, and I had a bit of space left at the end for where I could add some purple. I do not have a purple distress oxide though, so instead I mixed worn lipstick with that same Mermaid Lagoon that I had used for my blue, and I almost put my blue blending tool in that pink ink pad. Luckily I caught myself just in time, but by layering the worn lipstick and the Mermaid Lagoon over each other, I was able to make myself that purple colour to finish off my ink blended panel. So the first way I'm going to use the ink blended panel is literally just as a panel on my card base. The ink blending I did was taller than I need for my card base, so I trimmed the piece down, and to make sure I had enough variety of the colours I did trim away some of the lucky clover and cracked pistachio area, just so that I was going from the red to the blue. I didn't have quite enough space to fit the purple, but that's fine. And I used my T-square ruler to make sure that those 2 panels are correctly aligned. I'm going to use some teal mirror peel-offs to go around the edge of the panel just to help it look more finished, and this will also tie in with my die cut sentiment that you can see off to the side there, which I had cut from some teal mirror card. I added a panel of black which will go behind my sentiment and will also disguise that cut between the areas of the panel. Nobody will know that that was in 2 parts. And then I finished off with a few ebony black Nuvo drops just to tie in that black a bit more, so that completes that first card. For card number 2, I used the ink blended panel with some die cuts. These are the Band-Aid Die-namics from MFT, and there are links to all the products I have used in the description box below if you'd like to check those out. I die cut that 7 times from my ink blended panel, so I get a nice gradient effect. I've also die cut both sizes of hearts from the die set, and I'm adding those to a square of vellum, which will go on top of each of my Band-Aid. I chose vellum because that will let the colours show through, and vellum does show your adhesive through, so I'm only putting the adhesive on the back of where those hearts are so that it will not show through once I've attached them to the Band-Aids. It probably would have been quicker if I'd put the adhesive on the vellum straight after adding the hearts to each one, rather than doing all the hearts and then attaching all the vellum, but it doesn't make a lot of difference, so either way works. I'm going to make a panel to add some interest to my card. I'm making my own kind of black and white stripes using some more Love from Lizi peel-offs. These are the black glitter peel-offs, and I'm alternating the narrowest, the medium and the thickest, and then back from the thickest to the medium to the narrowest, and just going backwards and forth between those and putting these diagonally across the white panel that I have cut. And I'm going to work all the way across using my grid mat to help me try and make sure they're as straight as possible. And here you can see what that looks like when it's complete. It did take me a little while to do, but I think it looked really nice in the end, so I do think it was worth the time that it took. So I adhered that into place with Tombow Monomolte liquid glue, and then I'm going to use the same liquid glue to attach each of my band-aids into place. And I did line them all up before I started gluing anything to make sure that I had the spacing how I wanted it. And I found my reverse tweezers were really helpful for picking each band-aid up without making the other ones shift, or at least not shifting too much, so that I still had a good idea of the spacing that I needed there. And also, of course, using the liquid glue does give a little bit of wiggle time to make sure they are properly in place. I've white heat embossed a Get Well Soon sentiment onto a black strip, and I'm going to adhere that onto my panel. And I decided, because the strip was a little bit too long, I decided to add a white heart to that too. I thought that tied in with the hearts on the band-aids nicely, and I'm using Simply White Nuvo drops for that. So that will complete the second card, the Get Well Soon card. And then the third way I'm showing of using your ink blended backgrounds is again die cutting them, but this time using a word die. So I have this Hooray die, which is another MFT die, and I'm going to use that as my focal point. And as Hooray is quite celebratory, I thought I would add a banner to my card as well. So I'm using this banner die, again from MFT. I die cut the stitched line border along the top, and then I die cut the banners themselves from vellum and also from black card. I'm using the negative portion of the black card to help me with the spacing of the banner pieces. I'm going to add the vellum pieces first, and I'm just putting a dab of liquid glue on either of the top corners. As I said, the vellum will show the glue through, but because I knew I would be adhering the black ones offset, I knew the black ones would cover up the glue that I'd put on the vellum ones, so I just added the glue on those accordingly. And then once the banner was complete, I just needed to add the sentiment, which I put liquid glue onto the back and used my reverse tweezers to help me get that into place. And then I again pulled out my Simply White Nuvo drops, and I'm going to add 3 clusters of those, 1 of 2, 1 of 1 and 1 of 3. That's how I tend to do them. And then I like to create a visual triangle with them. Sometimes I take quite a while deliberating exactly where I want to put them, and that will complete my third card. So that's all 3 ways I'm showing in this video of how to use your ink blended backgrounds. I hope you found that useful and interesting. Please leave a comment below and let me know which of the cards is your favourite. And don't forget to mention where you are from so that you can be eligible for winning a prize. The link to the next stop on the hop is down below, so make sure you go and continue to hop along and leave some love for all of the talented crafters participating in the hop. If you're not a subscriber, you can press the button on screen now to subscribe to my channel, and the notification bell down below will alert you anytime I post a new video. There are a couple of other videos on screen if you'd like to come back and watch those later, once you're done hopping, of course. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Good luck in the prize draw, and I will see you again next time. Bye!